So I was listening to one of my podcast episodes. You know how sometimes you hear something after the fact and you completely missed it in the moment? Well, that happened to me today. I was listening back to one of my episodes and I was talking about wanting to be a good mom, a good wife, a good daughter, a good sister, friend, just trying to be good or a good person for everyone around me. And then it hit me like I never once said I want to be a good friend to myself. It was like this weird moment where I actually stopped and thought like how did I leave myself out of the conversation? And honestly, I don't think I'm the only one. I think so many of us are carrying around this invisible checklist every single day. I get everything done? Did I answer everyone's texts? Did I spend enough time with my kids? Was I patient enough? Did I work hard enough? Did I disappoint anybody? We're constantly grading ourselves based on how well we took care of everybody else. But how often do we ask, how did I treat myself today? It's funny because if one of my daughters came to me crying because she made a mistake, I'd hug her. I'd remind her she's learning. I'd tell her she's a good kid. I'd tell her tomorrow is another chance. But if I made a mistake, sometimes my own inner voice sounds nothing like that. It's, you should have handled that better. You should have known better. What's wrong with you? And isn't that strange? Like, the people we love the most usually get our patience. We get our criticism. The more I've been learning about mindfulness and psychology, the more I've realized something. Being kind to yourself isn't letting yourself off the hook. It's not pretending mistakes don't matter. Research on self compassion actually shows something pretty surprising. People who treat themselves with kindness after they mess up aren't less motivated, they're often more resilient. They spend less time stuck in shame and more time figuring out what they came, to learn and how to move forward. That really challenged the way I think. Because I've always assumed that if I wasn't hard on myself, I'd stop growing. But maybe that's backwards. Maybe growth doesn't happen because we beat ourselves up. Maybe growth happens because we feel safe enough to be honest with ourselves. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we shouldn't take responsibility. If I lose my patience with my kids, I'm going to own it. I'm going to apologize. I'm going to try to do better. But there's a huge difference between accountability and self punishment. One helps us grow, the other one just keeps us stuck. I think a lot of us were taught without anyone actually saying it that putting ourselves first was selfish. Especially as parents, caregivers, especially as people who just genuinely want everyone around us to be okay. We hear ourselves trying to make sure everyone else feels loved while quietly running on empty ourselves. And eventually you can't pour from an empty cup. I know it's a little cliche, but cliche usually doesn't, it usually becomes cliche because there's some truth hiding inside. Um, I've been noticing something else lately. On the days I take even 10 minutes to myself, maybe I sit outside with coffee or I go for a walk or maybe I listen to music. Or maybe I just sit in silence instead of reaching for my phone. I'm different. I'm more patient. I laugh more. I don't snap as quickly. Not because my kids suddenly became easier, but because I wasn't starting the day completely depleted. That isn't selfish. That's maintenance. Just like we charge our phones every night because we know they'll die without a battery, our minds and nervous systems need recharging too. And yet somehow we expect ourselves to keep going with 2% battery and wonder why everything feels so hard. Something I've been trying to ask myself lately is a different question. Not, was I a good enough mom today? Or did I get everything done? Instead, I ask, was I a good friend to myself today? Did I give myself credit for anything? Did I notice something I did well? Did I forgive myself for something small? Did I speak to myself with the same kindness I'd offer somebody I love? Because here's the truth: the longest relationship you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. You're there through every mistake, every celebration, every loss, every ordinary Tuesday. You hear every thought, every doubt, every criticism. So maybe, just maybe, that relationship deserves a little more attention. Mm. If you're listening to this and you're exhausted, trying to be everything for everyone, I just want you to know you're not alone. I think so many of us are trying so hard to earn the title of good, a good parent, a good spouse, a good employee, a good friend. But maybe we forgot one. Be good to yourself, not because you've earned it, not because everything on your to do list is finished, not because you were perfect today, simply because you're a human being, and human beings deserve compassion too. So, tonight, before your head hits the pillow, ask yourself one simple question: was I a good friend to myself today? Maybe the answer is yes. Maybe it's no. If, if it's no, tomorrow is another chance. One small choice, one kinder thought, one deep breath before criticizing yourself. Because maybe the person we've all forgotten to take care of is the one we've been spending every single day with. And maybe that's where healing really begins. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.